My favorite leftist talking point right now is that Elon Musk supported Donnie or created DOGE or participated in the administration to enrich himself, when in fact, the facts prove the opposite. The standard leftist brain is plagued with financial sogginess, so I'll clear a few things up. The clear and most obvious evidence of this is in the Tesla share price. In December of 2024, before Inauguration Day, Tesla's share price reached nearly $500, an all-time record high. As of today, it's trading around $262 and has dropped more than 30% since the beginning of the year. As far as I can see, a sizable percentage of Elon's net worth is tied up in Tesla shares. And since December, that position has lost over $100 billion, about 25% of his net worth. Since Elon is an officer of the company, his shares being sold are declared, and it would make international news if he was to sell a sizable percentage of his position. Elon didn't get rich by accident. This is a hyper-intelligent human being, and any human being with any reasonable mind could understand that aligning yourself with one of the most publicly hated people to ever walk the earth might be bad for your personal brand as well as your company. Meaning that being publicly visible and supportive of Donnie and integrating himself in the administration and being covered by all these news outlets meant he was definitely going to be painted as equally, if not more, evil. And since the primary objective of DOGE is to cut wasteful spending, that means that employees would be included as well. And a lot of people who thought that the programs that just got cut from them weren't wasteful because it involved them and their pocket, making it double and triple as obvious that this would piss off a lot of people. But as far as I can see, I see no publicly disclosed sales of Tesla stock by Elon, which would have been more than legal, prudent, and would have saved him tens of billions of dollars. And for a person who's the CEO of multiple publicly traded companies and an officer at a whole handful of different companies, his time is obviously the most valuable. So spending that precious time, investing it into working for DOGE for free, is not really that great of an investment. Unless you understand that his decision is altruistic, for the good of the country, for the good of the country that helped him succeed. The only reasonable conclusion that you could draw is that the decision was in so many ways selfless and patriotic. And if you want to say that the supposedly lucrative government contracts like the SpaceX contracts or whatever else, all of those were in place well before his involvement in this administration and had nothing to do with it. And generally speaking and objectively speaking, the American people are more well off as a result of SpaceX contracts, as it has been publicly declared, obviously, that SpaceX launches cost considerably less than NASA launches do, to the tune of 90% less. Meaning that SpaceX is winning all of those contracts because the cost effectiveness of that business is considerably better than that of our own bureaucracy, than that of NASA. Us giving contracts to SpaceX saves the American taxpayer a ton of money. On top of all that, aligning yourself with Donnie creates considerable risk for your life and your family. And considering that Elon has 13 kids at this point, a multiple of different people that are connected to him, that means the additional investment into ramping up security for all of those individuals is extremely costly. Something that really probably would never have existed to that degree had he not aligned himself with Donnie, the most hated and lied about man on the planet. As a result, there is pretty much only one logical conclusion to draw, which is that his decision to participate was patriotic for the good of the country and in so many ways altruistic, not to enrich himself. But keep going with this talking point, because all of us see through it. And lastly, not only has he permanently altered his standing in the social court of public opinion, but being so widely known and thus hated has also opened him up to a wide range of legal battles and entanglements that could potentially come his way now or in the future. The threat of lawfare and unscrupulous legal challenges has created a tremendous amount of liability, because if you could tie up Donnie in courts for years and threaten him with triple lifetimes in prison, you could just as easily do the same thing to him, and he's opening himself up to that as well. You don't have to like everything that he says and does, but to suggest that this man did this to enrich himself is patently false, more than obvious by anyone who's not soggy.